Hey there, my name is Shari Kensley, your body positive community yoga teacher, and today's practice is going to be for low back pain relief as well as for your hips. So go ahead, make your way onto your mat. If you have a block or a blanket, it's always nice to have those props close by. And we're going to start with our knees bent, feet walked wide to the outside edges of our mat, and we're going to drop those knees in towards one another, making our way onto our back here. And then place those hands anywhere that is comfortable for you. Maybe on the belly, maybe down alongside the body, palms facing up. And we'll just take a few breaths here. If you have those hands on the belly, you can start to notice that belly gently rising and falling. And starting to melt into the breath, allowing that body to melt into the mat. Starting to relax the gaze behind those eyelids. And taking a scan of the body, noticing any areas that might feel a little bit more tight today. And just noticing without passing any judgment. Let's take one more round of breath here. From here, we're going to walk our feet to hips width apart. Still have those knees bent, soles of the feet on the floor. We're going to do some gentle pelvic rocks. So you can place your hands on your hip bones, on your pelvis. It makes it a little bit easier to find the subtle motion that we're about to do. Perfect. On your inhale, you want to think about your pelvis as a bowl and gently tip the bowl away from you. You'll feel your low back arch up off the floor, about half an inch or so. You'll feel your pubic bones tip away, your pelvic bones tip away, and then on your exhale, you're going to press the low back down. Gently rock the pelvis up towards you. Your tailbone might come up off the floor a few millimeters. Beautiful. We're going to rock that pelvis away on the inhale. And exhale, rock the pelvis back. Beautiful. And that's all we're looking for here. Subtle rocking of the pelvis. Beginning to loosen up into the lowest part of the spine. Let's see if we can flow with the breath. Inhaling the pelvis away. Exhaling as we tip the pelvic bowl back up towards us. Press the low back into the mat. There you go. You got it. A few more rounds of breath here. Just flowing with the breath. Let's take 2 more full rounds of breath. Exhaling to release. Beautiful. Pelvis will fall to neutral here. From here, we're going to begin to take those knees softly from side to side, gently windshield wipering. A couple more rounds of breath. Keeping those ankles flexed. Allowing that mind to stay focused on the gentle flow of the inhale and exhale. Lovely. On that inhale, let's bring those knees back up to center. Begin to reach those arms overhead. Stretch through those fingertips and exhale. Gather both knees in towards the chest. Give them a nice big squeeze. Beautiful. In our knee to chest pose here, we're going to continue our rocking. This time, gently rocking side to side. few more rounds of breath here. With every breath, start to feel that low back melt and release down just a little bit more. Let's take one more full breath here in these gentle rocks from side to side. And then rocking back onto the center of the spine. Let's extend those arms wide out to the sides. Take an inhale here and exhale, release both knees over to your right. Take your time going slowly, being gentle on the spine, allowing those knees to melt down. If they don't meet the mat, you can bring a blanket or a block underneath the knees. You can even bring a block in between the knees as well, or both. And you want to allow that left shoulder to just melt down. Maybe drop your gaze over to the left here. Let's take a nice long inhale. Exhaling to soften into the posture. With every exhale, melting just a little bit more. A few more rounds of breath here. Let's take one more big inhale. Exhaling to release. Lovely on that next inhale. Knees come all the way back up to center. Exhale, hug the knees into the chest. Give them a big squeeze. Take a breath here. We'll extend those arms wide out to the sides again. Taking an inhale and exhale, twisting over to our left. This time allowing that right shoulder to melt down, maybe dropping the gaze over to the right. Beautiful, soften across the jaw, the eyes, the forehead. A few more breaths here, melting into the twist. Let's take one more full round of breath here. On that inhale, bring those knees all the way back up to center. Exhaling, give yourself a big squeeze. Let's take a breath here, knee to chest pose. Perfect, releasing, softly turning over onto one side. And using the strength of the arms to gently press ourselves up to an easy seat. Go ahead, cross those legs, sitting up nice and tall here. And then bringing those hands to those knees, we'll take a few rounds of seated cat-cow. On the inhale, we're going to lift the heart, squeeze the shoulder blades, look up. Exhale, round up the spine, chin to chest. Inhaling to round. Looking up, exhaling, coming forward. Beautiful. 2 more breaths just like that. Just gently loosening up all through the spine. Beautiful. Next inhale, come all the way back up. Lovely. We're going to take those legs out long. You can scoot down your mat so that those heels are padded. We'll bring those feet to hips width apart. We'll start to flex those ankles, press the backs of the thighs down. You can also elevate your hips by sitting up on a blanket. to take a little bit of the angle out and make it a bit easier to fold. On your next inhale, you're going to bring your arms up and overhead, look up, lengthen up through the side body. Keep that long spine as you hinge forward at the hip points and allow the hands to fall wherever they fall. Beautiful. On the inhale, we're going to slide the shoulders down the back, long spine. Exhale, we're going to fold forward here. We're going to be patient with the body. Allow the backs of the legs to softly open. We're staying active in this posture by flexing through the ankles and pressing down through the backs of those thighs. Shoulders keep sliding down the back, pulling the heart forward and the belly down onto the tops of the thighs, which is why they call it a forward bend and not a downward bend. So we're keeping that nice lifted heart. A couple more rounds of breath here. Lovely. Let's take one more full round of breath. Seated forward bend. Awesome. Inhale to half rise. Exhale, release. Come all the way up. Softly shake those legs out against the mat to release any tension. And then we're going to sweep those legs behind us. Make our way onto hands and knees. And we're going to take our knees wide apart. Our big toes are going to touch here. We're going to sit our hips back to our heels, and then gazing forward, we'll walk those hands forward and start to melt the heart and the forehead down, coming into child's pose. Child's pose is a beautiful posture for low back relief, but if you've got tight upper feet, it can be a little bit tough to get into this posture, in which case I suggest rolling up a mat and bringing it underneath those ankles, especially if you got plantar fasciitis or just tightness across the tops of the feet. It'll make this pose monumentally more comfortable. Just dropping into the breath here. Not super active in this posture, so just let those hands and fingers and wrists, forearms and elbows completely relax. A couple more breaths. Lovely. Start to wriggle those hips from side to side here. And just gently swing. You can rock that forehead side to side as well. Let's take another breath here. Beautiful. Inhaling, walk those hands back up towards the body. So we're sitting on those heels, and then we're going to bring those knees together. We're going to come to stand up on the knees. Now, if you have tender knees, I suggest patting those knees by either folding over your mat or grabbing your blanket, bringing it onto a nice low level, and then coming to stand up on those knees. We'll do a few rounds here of our camel prep pose just to continue to strengthen that low back so that we can continue to open the low back. We'll bring our thumbs into the low back. We're going to squeeze our shoulder blades together. On the inhale, use those thumbs to gently press the hips forward. Core is tight. Lift the heart and softly look up. Beautiful. Gently leaning back here. Keep knitting the low ribs in together so we're not dumping any weight into our low back. And really more, we're lifting through the heart and gently pressing the hips forward. Squeeze the shoulder blades together tightly. One more breath. Inhaling to rise. Exhale to release those hands down. We'll take a breath here. We'll take another round. Bring those thumbs to the low back. Squeeze the shoulder blades tight. Inhale, press those hips forward as you lift the heart. Looking up, 2 breaths. Keep supporting that low back. Very nice. Inhaling to rise. Exhale, release, relax. Take a breath. One more round. Thumbs into that low back very gently. Squeeze the shoulder blades, press the hips forward, lift the heart, look up, 2 breaths. Gorgeous. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, melt the hips to the heels. Take those knees wide. Walk those hands forward. Child's pose. Counter pose for our back bend. Few breaths here.
Beautiful. On that next inhale, start to make your way up into tabletop, hands and knees. If you have tender knees, you can keep your blanket where it is if you need to. Otherwise, we can set that off to the side. And we'll start to stack our shoulders
over our wrists and our hips over our knees. We'll come into our full rounds of cat-cow here. On your inhale, you're going to pull your heart forward, flip your tailbone up, look up. On the exhale, we're going to round up the spine. Crown of the head releases heavy. Inhaling, looking up, nice deep arch in that low back. Exhale, tucking the tailbone under, pulling the belly button in tight as we round up the spine. Inhaling to lift the heart. Exhaling to press that mat away as you round. Gorgeous. A few more rounds of breath. Flowing with the inhale and the exhale. Staying focused on the body. One more round of breath. Beautiful. Inhale, come through neutral. Exhale, sit those hips back to those heels. And if you like, you can roll those wrists out.
Let's take one more breath here. Beautiful. On that next inhale, we'll make our way back up into our tabletop position. And then we're going to begin to come into our first downward facing dog. Downward dog is an amazing posture for low back pain as long as we get into it properly and correctly. Because what it does is it creates tons of traction in the back, lots of space in between those vertebrae. So from here, we're going to spread our fingers super duper wide. Imagine you're a little froggy stuck on a window. Beautiful. Squeeze the knuckles, squeeze the tips of the fingers, and especially squeeze those palms down. Begin to curl your toes under. Take an inhale here. Exhale, we're going to press the hips to the back of the room. We're going to keep our knees super bent to start unless you are crazy open in the back body and those heels naturally just relax down. Chances are you have to work your way into it. And what we're going to do is start to build the base here. From now, at this point, all of my weight is dumping into my hands and wrists. What I need to do is start to press the mat down and away. I have to start to engage my belly. And then I have to start pressing my thighs back, lifting up and out of my shoulders, and then relaxing my shoulders down. And then as I straighten through the legs, my heels start to relax down, creating the counterweight I need to find the traction in the back. My head is loose and heavy here. My gaze is either to the knees, traditionally to the belly button, but that can be too much on your neck. So let's take a few rounds of breath here. Keep pressing those hands down and away. Keep lifting up and out of the shoulders. Belly is super tight. Thighs are pressing back. We're looking for a long line from the wrists all the way up to those tailbones. Let's take another breath here. Inhale. Exhale, drop the knees, melt the hips back to the heels, child's pose. Again, roll those wrists out. You can also just turn those palms up. Couple breaths. Let's take one more breath here. Beautiful. Begin to make your way back up into our tabletop.
Knees come to hips width apart. Hands come to shoulder width apart. Spread the fingers wide. Press the palms down. Curling those toes under. Inhaling. Exhaling. Lift the hips up and back. Beautiful. Take one more breath here. Down dog. Inhale, gazing forward. Exhale, either walk your hands to your feet or your feet to your hands if that's easier. Doesn't really matter. And then inhaling, we'll take a half rise. We're going to look forward with 2 straight legs and a flat back. And we're just going to take a couple breaths here. Really pulling that heart forward. starting to open more and more to the backs of the legs. Let's take one more breath here. Beautiful. Inhaling. Exhale, you're going to fold, melt, and release the crown of the head down towards the earth. Now, if you like, you can make a little bit more space between those feet, heel-toeing those feet to hips width apart, or maybe a smidge wider. And then you're just going to allow everything to melt down. Nod the head yes and no. Let's loosen up the tension in the neck. Then we're going to allow those shoulders to get loose. Melt those shoulders down, nice and loose here. And then it might feel good just to grab a hold of opposite elbows or just cross those arms and let the weight of your arms pull down on the upper body, and then maybe start to sway side to side. Now with this little bend in my knees and my belly draped over my thighs, this is more of a low back release than it is a hamstring stretch. In order for it to become a hamstring stretch, we would need to straighten through these legs and press the thighs back to engage those hamstrings. But as it stands, this is a beautiful low back release. So just allow everything to melt down completely. You can also release the tops of the hands to the earth, turn the palms up, and they call this octopus pose. So let's breathe here, a couple more breaths. Everything is soft, everything is melting. One more breath. Beautiful. Next inhale, softly roll it up. Keep that tiny bend in those knees. Keep those hands and chin heavy. We'll stack those vertebrae one by one. The shoulders will roll down the back a couple times before the head rises tall and stacks on the neck. Beautiful. Let's keep rolling those shoulders a couple more times. Lovely. Start to heel toe those feet back together. We're going to bring our thumbs into our low back once again. We'll take a standing version of our camel prep pose. Squeeze those elbows together. Inhale, press the heart, hips forward, lift the heart, look up. Beautiful. 2 breaths. Inhale, come all the way up. With that flat back, exhale, fold all the way back down once again. Release those hands down, and this time we are going to get into those hamstrings. Straighten through those legs and knees. Press those hips back. You'll start to feel your weight shift out of the heels and a bit more into the balls of the feet. Beautiful. Take a few rounds of breath in our fold, and you can play with subtly rocking the weight into those heels. It'll engage your hamstrings just a touch more. But at first, we keep the weight as firmly distributed or as evenly distributed through all 4 corners of the feet as we can. As you find more and more space to fold, you can actually pull up on the low belly, suck the belly in to create more space to fold, allowing the nose to start to release towards those knees. Keep pressing through the backs of the thighs. Couple more breaths here. One more breath. Beautiful. This time on the inhale, half rise, look forward, flat back, fingertips to shins or the earth. Exhale, fold, release, head is heavy. Inhale, come up, 2 straight legs, flat back. Reach those arms out to the sides as you rise. Bring those arms up and overhead. Let those palms touch at the top. Maybe that soft back bend. Exhaling, prayer to heart center. Awesome. Let's step our way all the way to the top of the mat. Feet to hips width apart. We'll release those palms down alongside the body. We'll shift our weight until we feel the weight evenly distributed through the heels, the soles, and both sides of the feet. Lovely. Slide the shoulders down the back. Gently tuck the chin. Draw the back of the head back. Low belly is firm. We're just starting to experience and feel what it's like to pull all the muscles to the bone for the most support. So wake up those inner ankles. Wake up your knees. Start to feel your quads lift and engage. Low belly is tight here. Perfect posture. 2 more breaths. Beautiful. On that inhale, reach the arms all the way up and overhead. Biceps come alongside those ears. Exhale, fold with a flat back all the way down. Inhale, half rise, look forward. Fingertips can come to shins or the floor. Exhale, we're going to plant those palms down firmly and step back to a top of a plank. For this first round, release your knees down, tops of the feet on the mat. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, shift forward, dropping the shoulders past the wrists as we bend the elbows and come forward to go down. Lovely. Hug those shoulders back, elbows in tight, tops of the feet press down. Lift the knees, engage the quads. Inhaling, pull your pubic bone forward and lift your heart. Squeeze those elbows in tight. 2 breaths. Beautiful. Inhale here. Press into those hands. Shift the hips back to the heels. Come into child's pose. Option for you here is to bring those hands down alongside those feet. Rock the shoulders forward. Take a breath. Let's take 1 more round of breath here. Beautiful. Go ahead, reach those hands back forward. Plant the palms, spread the fingers wide, inhaling to curl the toes under, exhaling to press the hips back. Beautiful. Find your down dog, full expression here. Quads are engaged, inner ankles are awake, rolling in towards one another. 2 more breaths. Inhale to look forward, exhale to step those feet up to the top of the mat. Inhale to half rise, look forward. Exhale to fold, melt the nose to the knees. Inhale, come up flat back, arms reach up and overhead. Exhale, prayer. We'll do that a few more rounds. Inhale, arms sweep up, biceps along the ears. Exhale, fold, flat back. Inhale, half rise. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, top of a plank, maybe knees up this round, shift your weight forward, inhale, exhale, point the elbows straight back as you lower. Lovely. Hug the elbows in tight, lift the knees, inhale, pull the heart forward, find your back bend, maybe putting a little bit more weight in the hands for a higher cobra. Take a breath. Inhaling. Exhale, child's pose. So we're modifying the traditional sun salutation here so that we've got a little bit more emphasis on our back bend. And then we have to make sure that we do our counter pose in this child's pose. So let's take 1 more breath here. And then we'll flow back through into our down dog. Hands plant firmly. Inhale, curl the toes under. Exhale, press those hips back, down dog. 3 breaths. Gorgeous. Inhale to look forward. Exhale to step those feet up top of the mat. Inhale to half rise. Exhaling to fold. Inhale to rise all the way up. Exhale, prayer. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, folding. Inhale, half rise, gaze forward.
Exhale, plant the hands, step back, top of the plank. Inhale, look forward, shift forward. Exhale, lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhaling, back bend. 2 breaths. Inner ankles are awake here too. Shoulders roll down the back, maybe looking up. Inhaling. Exhale, child's pose. Beautiful. 3 breaths. One more breath here. Awesome. Looking forward. Inhale, plant the hands, curl the toes under. Exhale, down dog. 3 breaths. One more full round of breath here. Inhaling to look forward, exhaling to step up. Inhale to half rise. Exhaling to fold. Inhaling to come on up. Exhaling prayer. Lovely. We'll take one more full round here. Inhale, arms reach up and overhead. Exhale, long fold. Inhaling, half rise. Exhale, step back. Lower through your chaturanga, lifting up through the backs of the thighs as you lower. Inhale, find that back bend. Maybe knees lift up off the mat for an upward dog. Exhale, release those knees down. Child's pose. Beautiful. 3 breaths. Lovely. Inhale, reach those hands forward. Exhale, curl the toes under, down dog. 3 breaths. Lovely. Remember, those inner ankles are rolling in, knees and thighs are lifted, bellies engaged, lifting up and out of those shoulders, and pressing the mat down and away. Next, inhale, sweep the right leg up. Look forward, step the right foot in between your hands and drop your back knee. If your front foot doesn't make it, wriggle it up until the ankle and knee are aligned. Looking forward here, find a low, long lunge. 4 breaths. Pelvis is heavy, melting forward and down. One more breath. Beautiful. Go ahead, curl the back toes under. We're going to lift the back knee all the way up. Plant your left hand on the mat. Inhale your right arm up to the sky. Stack those shoulders, pulling right hip back, left hip forward. 2 breaths. Beautiful. Exhale, release that right hand down. You're going to step the right hand inside your foot. You're going to walk your way to the center of your mat. You're going to turn your toes in and your heels out for a super wide fold. Inhale, looking forward with our flat back. Exhale, we're going to fold and melt the crown of the head down. Now maybe we're on the hands, maybe we're on the forearms. But wherever we are, again, knees are lifted, thighs are engaged, and we're pressing down through the outer edges of our feet so we can see our inner arches activate and lift. Couple more breaths here. You can always bring those forearms or hands onto a block if we need to. Couple more breaths. Gorgeous. On that inhale, half rise, look forward, come up onto the hands. Exhale, walk over to your left foot. We're going to pivot now to the back of the mat and then drop that back knee down to find our low lunge on the other side.
Again, walking that foot until the knee and ankle are aligned, and then gazing forward so our spine stays long. Release your pelvis down heavy. 4 breaths. Keep your mind on the front of the hip. Beautiful. On that inhale, let's curl the back toes under. On the exhale, plant the right hand, lift the back knee. Inhale, left arm up to the sky, finding this nice soft twist in the spine. 2 more breaths. Awesome. Go ahead, release that top hand down. Walk your way back to the center of your mat. And then you're going to heel toe your feet to much wider than hips width apart. And this time you're going to stomp with your heels in and your toes out, the opposite of pigeon toed. And you're going to walk those hands back and you're going to start to sit your booty down low to a super low squat. Now I take my feet out pretty wide so I can get my heels down. And then I bring my elbows into the insides of my knees. Hands come to prayer. On the inhale, I lift my heart, stack my spine, lovely, and allow my tailbone to melt straight down towards the earth. This is an amazing posture for low back relief. Let's just sink into this pose. A few more breaths here in garland or malasana pose. Couple more breaths. One more breath here. Beautiful. We're going to open it up just a bit. We'll release the hands down to the floor. You're going to walk your right hand way out to the right. Then on your inhale, you're going to sweep that left arm up, lean back, look up. Beautiful. Nice big opening here. One more breath. Lovely. Go ahead, release back down. Walk your left hand way out to the left, still inside the knee with that arm. Go ahead, begin to lean back. Inhale the right arm up, roll the right rib cage up and back. 2 more breaths. Inhaling. Exhale, release that hand down. Awesome. On the next inhale, we will flip the toes in, heels out. Inhale, half rise, look forward. Heel toe those feet to hips width apart. Perfect. Exhale, fold forward here. Allow the crown of the head to melt down. 2 breaths. Gorgeous. Next inhale, half rise, we gaze forward. Exhale, we bring our hands to our waist. Inhale, come on up with that flat back. Exhale, release those hands down, take a breath. Blood pressure is settling here. Fantastic. Go ahead, step up top of the mat. I'll take one more flow to get back down. Inhaling, arms come up and overhead. Exhale, long fold, flat back. Inhaling, half rise. Exhale, we step back. Find your top of a plank. Take your chaturanga if you choose. Inhaling for that soft back bend, elbows in tight. Exhale, come through your child's pose. Melt into the posture here. One more breath. Beautiful. Inhale, walk those hands back up towards your body and then make your way onto your back.
We're gonna bring the soles of the feet onto the floor. Knees pointing up to the sky. Melting our way softly down onto the back. Tucking the chin. Awesome. From here, you're gonna bring your left ankle onto your right knee. Flex the top ankle. Press the knee away from the body. Our goal in this reclined pigeon pose is to open our outer hip and to try to get into our piriformis. Now, the piriformis muscle, if it is inflamed, can very often inflame the sciatic nerve, which runs right through that muscle, which can cause tons of low back pain. If you've ever had sciatic pain, you know what I'm talking about. So getting into this piriformis can help strengthen and open everything in that area so that that sciatic nerve can find some space and relief. So a few more rounds of breath. And if you'd like to deepen, bring those hands behind your right thigh, interlace your fingers, relax everything back down. Keep flexing that top ankle and then pulling the knee in closer to the body and pressing that left knee further away from the body to continue to engage that outer hip stretch. Strap into the breath here, soften the muscles of the face. This posture can also be done up against a wall, in which case you would just bring the sole of this right foot up against a wall and then scoot your booty closer and closer to exaggerate and deepen your opening. A few more breaths here. Staying focused on the inhale and the exhale. One more full breath. Perfect. Gently releasing everything back down. Soles of the feet come to the mat. Keep those ankles flexed as you gently windshield wiper your knees from side to side. Lovely. Come back to center. Reset those feet to hips width apart. And we'll go ahead and switch. Bring the right ankle onto that left knee. Flex that top ankle firmly, pulling the toes back towards the knee. And then start to press that knee softly away. Getting into that outer hip. Just allowing this gentle opening to start here. And you can absolutely stay here. You can also come up onto the tiptoes of the left foot and bring the knee a little closer to the body. If you want to find a halfway point between this part of the posture and deepening the posture by bringing the hands behind the thigh or even on top of the shin and drawing that knee closely to the body as you use your right elbow to nudge the right thigh away from you. Tuck the chin here, always working to keep the back of the neck long. Breathing. Really focusing your mind on the outer hip. And understanding that even though we can do lots of work with our muscles, if our mind isn't engaged, it's just not as effective. Staying present, flowing with the breath. Few more breaths here.
Perfect. Let's take one more full round of breath here. One more full breath. Beautiful. Bottom of that exhale. Gently release everything back down. Keeping those ankles flexed so we don't tweak anything. We softly windshield wiper our knees from side to side. When you're ready, make your way back up to center. Reset those feet to hips width apart. From here, we're going to make our way into a very deep twist. So go ahead, press into both feet. You'll gently lift the hips, and you're going to bring both hips over to the right edge of your mat and then set them down. So the upper body will be crooked, and that's okay. We're going to cross the right leg over the left leg. And from here, extend those arms out wide. Inhale. Exhale, drop both knees over to the left. We're coming into a pretty deep twist here, so take your time. Now you might find that the double wrap is a little too much, in which case you can simply uncross the legs and stack the knees. Otherwise, start to melt into this twist, perhaps turning the gaze over to the right here. If that's not comfortable on the neck, we just come back to neutral. Drop into the breath. Long, full inhales. Full and complete exhales. Just allowing the body to melt into this deep twist. You can also go for a double wrap with the legs, bringing the top of the foot behind the shin. Soften across the face. A few more breaths here. Just a few more rounds of breath. Let's take one more full round of breath here in this deep twist. Beautiful. Begin to unwrap those legs. Bring both knees back up to center. Go ahead, plant those feet. You're going to press into the feet one more time. You're going to pick those hips up and you're going to set them back down the center of the mat. Just resetting here. We'll make our way to the other side. Starting to press into those feet, lift those hips up. Bring them both over to the left edge of your mat and set them down. And then this left knee is going to cross over right. Extend those arms out wide. Nice long inhale. Exhale, twisting to the right this time. Just melting everything down. Super deep twist here. Again, if at any point you feel any sharp stabbing pains, you can definitely unravel these legs and simply stack the knees for a simple twist. And just softening here. Perhaps turning the gaze over to the left to complete the spinal twist. And softening into it. Staying engaged with the breath. Just allowing that spine to open. A few more breaths here. Softening more and more. Just let everything go. Surrender. See if you can relax another part of the body. Maybe into the face, the eyes, behind the eyelids. A few more breaths here on this side. One more full round of breath here. Lovely. Unraveling those legs, stacking the knees. We'll bring those knees back up to center. And then planting those feet firmly, go ahead, lift those hips up, set them back into the center of the mat, and allow everything to reset back down. And then we're going to gather both knees back into the chest. Give them a nice big squeeze here. Feel that low back release. Couple more breaths. Beautiful. Whenever you're ready, release the soles of the feet back down to the mat. We're going to take just a couple more rounds of those pelvic rocks. So you can put those hands on those hip points. And from here, inhale, tip those hip points away from the body, low back arches. Exhale, press the low back down, pubic bone tips up to the chin. Beautiful. Rocking the pelvic bowl away, low back lifts slightly. And exhaling, pressing that low back down. Lovely. Let's just take 2 more breaths like that. One more round. Squeeze that low back down on the exhale. Beautiful. Release the pelvis to neutral. Gather those knees into the chest one more time. Give them a nice big squeeze. 2 breaths. Lovely. Inhaling. Exhaling to release the soles of the feet back down. We're going to bring those knees out wide, soles of the feet together. Allow those knees to relax out to the sides. If you've got a couple blocks, you can easily prop these hips up with your block on either the lowest or the second or even the third level, whatever your hips need. And we'll be here for a few breaths. You can go ahead and bring those hands onto the belly. Just noticing the gentle rise and fall of the inhale and the exhale. And this hip opener can sometimes be a bit too much. At any point you feel you need to come out, you can simply bring the soles of the feet back onto the mat. Walk those feet wide out to the edges of your mat and just release your knees onto one another and relax there. Then you can rejoin us in this reclined butterfly pose whenever you feel ready. Softening the mind here. Just enjoying the peace and focus that you've created in your body. A few more rounds of breath here. Let's take one more full round of breath here in our reclined butterfly.
Long inhale. Long exhale. Perfect. Hands come to the outsides of those thighs. We gently gather the knees in, walking the feet back to hips width apart, flexing those ankles to keep those ankles secure. We windshield wiper our knees out from side to side. Beautiful. One more breath here. Whenever you're ready, go ahead, come back to center, and let's bring those knees back up into the chest. Give them a nice big squeeze. We're going to come into our happy baby pose. Separate those knees out wide. You're going to bring the arms inside the knees. You're going to reach across the shins and grab a hold of either the shins, maybe the ankles, maybe the outside edges of the feet if they're available. Go ahead, flex those ankles firmly. Separate those knees out super duper wide, and then using the strength of the arms, pull those knees down towards the earth. Breathing here. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhaling. Exhaling. And then that low back is probably up off the mat. Let's see if we can squeeze the low back down to the earth, lengthen out through the sacrum, lengthen out through the tailbone. Beautiful. And if it feels good, maybe rocking side to side a couple times in our happy baby. Beautiful. Let's go ahead, bend deeply into one leg, extend the other leg out long. Take a breath here. Go ahead, releasing, bend deeply into the other knee, extend the other leg out long. Let's take a breath here. Awesome. Go ahead, release. We'll come back to center. One more nice long inhale. Exhaling, releasing those knees into the chest. Give them a nice big squeeze. Maybe bring the forehead up to the knees. Lovely. Go ahead, hug those arms around those legs tight. And we're going to do our tense and release exercise. Tense those toes tight, squeeze those knees tight, tense your booty, belly, back, eyes, nose, mouth, face. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. One more long inhale. Exhale, release everything down. Beautiful. For this Shavasana, we're going to bring the soles of the feet onto the mat, knees up to the sky. Let's walk those feet out wide and then release the knees in towards one another. Lovely. And from there, arms extend out to the sides, palms up. Let's rock those shoulders down away from the ears and softly tuck the chin. Back the neck is long. Take a long inhale here. On the exhale, just let everything go. Perfect. Starting at the base of those feet. Relax those toes, feet, and ankles. Relax the shins, calves, and knees. Relax the hips, thighs, pelvis, and low back. Relax the belly and middle back. Relax the chest, shoulders, and upper back. Relax the arms, forearms, wrists, hands, fingers, and thumbs. Relax the neck and the throat, the jaw and the tongue. Relax the forehead, eyebrows, and eyes, the scalp and the brain. Relax all of the internal organs and the lungs, releasing the breath, releasing the mind. allowing yourself to melt into stillness in our final resting pose, Shavasana. If you choose to stay in your Shavasana, just allow every sound to wash over you and take you even deeper into rest. If you are ready to rise, begin to notice your breath, lengthening your inhales and deepening your exhales. We'll bring our attention back to the body by gently touching the thumb to each finger, beginning with the pointer, the middle, the index, and the pinky. From there, we'll wriggle the fingers, wrists, and the toes. On your inhale, extend those arms overhead. Find a long stretch through those fingertips. On an exhale, we'll gather both knees into the chest, give them a nice big squeeze. Softly turning over onto one side. Pausing in a fetal position to reset for a few breaths. On the inhale, use just the strength of your arms to softly press yourself up to an easy seat with the eyes remaining closed, sitting up tall. Stack those vertebrae one at a time until you rise tall through the crown of the head. Relax the shoulders down the back, sitting in stillness. Take a breath here. Please bring those palms together in front of the heart. Thumbs gently touching the chest. Namaste.